right, I will call the sixth regular Common Council meeting to order. Will the deputy clerk please say the quote of the day?
In order to carry out a positive action, we must develop a positive vision.
All right, will the deputy clerk also call the roll?
Alderperson Ackley,
Excused.
Alderperson Boren,
Here.
Alderperson Decker,
Here.
Alderperson Feldy,
Here.
Alderperson Filicki-Pineski,
Here.
Alderperson Laster, Alderperson Mitchell, Alderperson Perella, Alderperson Salazar,
Here.
Alderperson Savaglio.
Present.
There are 9 alders present.
All right, for everyone in attendance today, would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. Alderperson Feldy,
I move to approve.
Second.
there's been a motion second. Any discussion on the minutes from our June 7th meeting? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
The minutes are approved. Anyone for a public forum today?
There is no one speaking.
All right. 1.5, confirmation of mayor's appointments. City attorney.
Thank you. There are a number of appointments. The mayor submits the following appointments for your consideration. To the Board of Marina Parks and Forestry Commissioners, Marilyn Montemayor. To the Joint Review Board, Mayor Ryan Sorensen. City of Sheboygan Representative Mark Belkey. School District Representative Roy Cluse, LTC Representative, Roger Distruti, County Representative, and Roberta Filicki-Pineski, Public Representative. To the Library Board, Andre Walton. To the Mayor's International Committee, Tony Romer, Deidre Martinez, Peter Jansen, Deb Sable-Williams, Dana Elmsen, and Nick Laurie.
Alderperson Feldy.
I move to confirm.
Second.
There's been a motion second. All those in favor of confirming the appointments, please state aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Those are approved. All right, 1.6, mayor announcements. All right, first item to announce, pop-up shop applications are due June 30th. Applications are available on the city's website. There's only one application to date right now, so if you or you know somebody that is an entrepreneur or a small business startup, please check out that application or contact City Planning and Development if you have any questions. Additionally, utility boxes, we're looking for artists to submit applications. So if you're interested in beautifying the city and have a design or proposal to paint up or design a utility box, again, please check out the city's website or call the Planning and Development Office if you have any questions. Additionally, everybody knows that Sheboygan is the place to celebrate Independence Day, and that's coming up right around the corner. Freedom Fest will be celebrated on Saturday, July 3rd. So just making sure everybody knows that it's not on the 4th. A lot of the festivities will be on the 3rd this year, with the parade starting out at 9 a.m. And festivities at DeLand Park starting at noon. And the fireworks will be conducted from the South Pier on the river on a barge this year at dusk. Again, the Yacht Club will be hosting Venetian Night and the boat parade on Friday, July 2nd in the Sheboygan River. More information about all the festivities for Independence Day can be found on Visit Sheboygan's website. Additionally, city staff have recently completed a new software called Neighborly, and this software allows citizens in the city to look at funding applications and apply online. The city rehab program is one that can be completed online as well. Residents, if they need any assistance with housing rehabilitation, are encouraged to check this out and apply if needed. And again, contact Planning and Development with any questions. June 23rd, so this Wednesday at 6 p.m., Alliant Energy will be hosting a public town hall informational session about the future of Alliant's Edgewater Power Plant. So members of the public are encouraged to attend if you have any questions or just want to get an update on that project. Additionally, the Sheboygan Fire Department will be hosting its inaugural Citizens Fire Academy this fall. participants will be given the opportunity to learn firsthand about the Sheboygan Fire Department and how it operates. The curriculum will be a series of lectures and hands-on trainings, similar to those that they utilize to recruit firefighters. The academy is a 9-week class held from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Wednesdays, beginning September 1st and ending October 27th. All classes will be held at the Sheboygan Fire Department's headquarters, Station 3 and North 25th Street. The application period will be open on Monday, June 28th, and will close on Monday, July 12th at noon. Keep an eye out on city social media accounts and the fire department's website for more information. That's all I got. We'll move right along into the consent agenda. Alderperson Feldy.
I move to receive and file all ROs, receive all RCs, and adopt all resolutions and ordinances.
Second.
There's been a motion and second. Any discussion on the items for the consent agenda? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Alderperson Mitchell. There are 9 ayes.
All right, that is approved. Moving on to report of officers, 3.1 will lay over. Items 3.2 through 3.5 will be referred to specific committees. Report of committees, 5.1, RC number 502122 by the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred RC number 2021, 2021, 22 by the Finance and Personnel Committee, to whom was a direct referral of RO number 10-21-22 by the Director of Human Resources, submitting an internal controls assessment for the City of Sheboygan, benefits administration assessment dated April 19th, 2021, which was prepared by Clifton Larson Allen, recommends filing the document in directing the city administrator and HR director to provide quarterly reports to the council, to bring to the Finance and Personnel Committee the pros and cons of each suggested audit in the report. Alderperson Decker.
Okay, I make a motion to receive the RC, file the document, direct the city administrator and HR director to provide quarterly reports to the council, and to bring to the Finance and Personnel Committee the pros and cons of each suggested audit in the report.
Second, Boren.
There's been a motion by Decker, second by Bourne. Any further discussion on this item? All right, seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
There are 9 ayes.
All right, 5.2, RC number 512122 by the Finance and Personnel Committee, to whom was referred RO number 192122 by Alderpersons Mitchell and Flicky-Pineski, approving the tax incremental financing policy for the city of Sheboygan, and recommends adopting the resolution. Alderperson Mitchell.
Thank you, Mayor. I make a motion to receive the RC and adopt the resolution.
Second.
There's been a motion and second. Any discussion? Development Director Pellicek.
Thank you, Mayor. So I just wanted to give a little Cliff Notes version about this policy document. So prior to this, the city did not have a tax incremental financing district policy. We worked with a number of examples from other communities, and we had an internal review team that looked at this document a number of times. So the document before you today really lays out how we're going to work with developers as it relates to future TIF incentive requests. One of the things I think to highlight is the fact that this policy includes a $1,000 application fee, which we believe that if the developer or commercial person is really interested in moving forward with such a thing, that they won't have a problem paying the fee, and it'll cover staff times for the reviews, as well as if we need to bring any consultants in to help look at numbers. There's a number of goals outlined in the policy. There's also a number of eligible activities, and those eligible activities really stem around renewable energy activities as well as best management practices related to stormwater. So a lot of times what happens is we have developers coming forward and making requests for city incentive on development deals. And really it's, there's not a lot of reason why they need it. There may be a gap in the pro forma. But this gives a little bit more, I guess, skin in the game from their side of things as it relates to the development side. And that we can try to meet more of our sustainability goals, as well as some stormwater issues that are stormwater practices that continue to be problems. So we kind of vetted this in detail with the Finance and Personnel Committee. I think it makes sense for the city moving forward to have something in line. There's also an application process that anybody that's interested in development incentives would have to fill out with the fee, and it just gives us a little bit more information and help as we negotiate these deals. So I can answer any questions if you have them. Thanks.
Any questions for Chad? Marcus?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My question would be, why are we putting more roadblocks in front of development? An extra fee of $1,000 is one more thing to get in the way of doing more business in the city. I thought we were pro-business here, not looking to nickel and dime everybody who came our way.
The reason we're doing this is we get a lot of requests for TIF that developers or people don't understand what they're doing. So we spend a ton of staff time trying to educate people on how to put their development pro forma together and what we're looking for, and trying to understand what TIF is and how it works. So the real issue is the fact that if somebody's coming to the city and asking for incentive, they should know what their ask is and why they need to do it. Versus city staff having to educate them on what they're trying to do. So it's a minimal fee to cover the costs, and frankly, if we're giving away $1 million in TIF, $1,000 is minimal compared to the time and effort that we have to put into these projects. So it's really to really hold people accountable that if they're looking to invest in the community, they're not going to have an issue with paying $1,000 review fee when they're subject to this in a lot of other municipalities across the state.
Alderperson Savalio, you have a follow-up on your question?
I do have a follow-up on my question here. If city staff is spending all this time helping out these developers create what they don't know how to do, why don't we refer them to the Economic Development Corporation, which we help fund?
Want me to jump in?
Go ahead.
Administrator Wolf?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to make a couple of real quick statements, and then I'll answer the question. First off, I support this 100%. This is a great policy. The city needs to have more policies in place to allow businesses to have a structure to follow. One of the things that we need to understand is that we are open for business, and we want more businesses to work. The issue is that we do suggest that people go to the SCEDC and we give them the contacts, the names. We explain to them exactly what we need to help them. And in my opinion, and Chad can jump in, we have so many developers at all spectrums that will literally come to us and say, city, what can you give us? And the issue is we ask them, well, what are you looking to do? And they don't have a clue. We don't even have a napkin with a crayon drawing on it. So this is something that I support. It doesn't mean that we're going to push people away. It's more of the fact that if they're serious, there's guidelines and opportunities that will help them to better understand what we can negotiate and give them depending on what they're looking to develop. So to me, this is actually much more clarity for people where we can give them something and say, take a look at this and let us know what the next steps are. We're not pushing people away. It's just that it's more outlined in what is available for them. Does that help you?
All right, thank you, Alderperson Savalio. Alderperson Flicky-Pineski?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I sit on the redevelopment authority, so I see a lot of developers come through. I also sit on the Joint Review Committee, which is basically the TIF committee. And this particular document will help us level the playing field for all the developers who come in, and they'll know at the beginning, here's what we expect, here's how you go about it. So I'm all in favor of the protocol, and truly, I think they can find $1,000. So, thank you.
Thank you, Alderperson. Alderperson Perella?
Yeah, I also agree completely with the creation of the policy, because that will help with the communication of the ground rules. And so that is definitely something I approve. And I approve also the fee, because that way basically the resources, the staff resources are dedicated to the most serious clients or developers. However, I also wanted to suggest, has been considered that the $1,000 can be refunded if the development works?
In the policy, the application fee is not refunded.
I know, but as being considered as a possibility, because someone, of course, pays, which means there is a sort of commitment, but that could be a compromise.
Administrator Wolf, you want to respond?
Sure, thank you. We didn't look at this as a refundable piece because of the fact of the significant level of hours, whether it's DPW and engineering, designing things, or the city development department, or even the clerk's office. There are so many hours that go into working with our developers and helping them along the journey of developing, that we're trying to cover the additional costs, because when those costs are being consumed by these groups, there's additional workings that need to be done that are not covered. So in my opinion, I would suggest that we keep it at the $1,000, non-refundable. And if it's something that we see in the future, because this is going to vet quite a bit of the busy work that's not going to come forward. And if it's something that we see the tide changing, then I would say that the city staff would recommend that we would come up with some type of a compensation or reduction in cost depending on the development. But at this time, I would recommend that we keep it at the $1,000 and see how it moves forward. Thank you.
Mayor Sorensen?
Alderperson Boren?
Thank you, Mayor. I didn't hear an answer completely to Alderperson Saviglio's question about referring some of these developers to the SDEDC, who we fund to the tune of $100,000 a year. Is there any possibility of getting their more involvement to save city staff some time?
Administrator Wolf?
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Boren, we do work hand in hand with the SCEDC, but I will explain to you that the SCEDC does not have the level of staff and resources that the city does. So technically, when it comes to city development, the city actually does the majority of the work, where the SCEDC is really more of the introduction, where when businesses are looking for opportunities, the SCEDC will also be representing the city. But the city staff actually has a much more robust arsenal of resources to support development compared to the SCEDC. The SCEDC does on occasion ask us to assist them with development, but first and foremost, obviously, we represent the city first. I hope that helps you.
Thank you. Just if I could follow up, I kind of agree with the question that Alderperson
Grazia.
Peralta about the possible refund if the project comes to fruition. I just think that would be a good gesture on the part of the city if we consider. I mean, $1,000 isn't much on a multi-million-dollar project. However, getting back to what Alderperson Saviglio was saying about the city being open for business, if the project comes to fruition, I just don't think it's a bad idea to consider refunding that $1,000.
I guess just jumping in, sorry, Mayor. I guess the question that I would approach the council with is, please understand that the reason that we are doing this is to streamline our communication process with our potential business developers. We are working to improve our process to help them be more efficient and allow them to move forward faster if they have a development project that is robust. Part of the problem that we have is the many hours that go into so many different developments that they don't have the information adequately approved, reviewed, or even provided. And that ties up a lot of the resources that we have here in the city. If the council is to consider discounting or refunding the monies, my recommendation to the council would be that it would be contingent on the amount of investment into the city. The reason for that is you can have a $50,000 development that takes as much time as a $50 million development. So we have to kind of weigh things out and where that cost value benefit is. Again, my recommendation is that we would continue to move forward with this policy, see how the policy progresses, and then city staff can always come back in 6 months or something and give a report on, how has it been beneficial or has it been detrimental before we make a change of giving a discount or a credit, because there's, again, what level do you give money back? Do you give money back when it's a small development or it's a large development?
Any other follow-ups, Alderperson Boren?
No, thank you very much.
All right, Alderperson Svalio?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to state first that I am very much in favor of almost everything in this except for this fee, because this is a great move forward for our city. I would, at this point, just make a motion to amend this document to make the $1,000 fee refundable, no matter what the level of investment is.
Second, Boren.
All right, there's been a motion to amend, and then there's been a second to make the fee refundable. Is there any conversation or discussion on this item? Anyone? Any city staff? Attorney Adams?
A couple things to note. First of all, this is a policy, so as far as negotiating any kind of agreement, the fee can be waived as part of negotiating the agreement rather than having it directly in the policy. Second, if you're going to make it waivable in the policy, you should probably lay out the specific circumstances in which it's going to be waived and at which time it's going to be waived.
All right, Alderperson Svalio, since you made the motion, we get the floor again.
Knowing that this is a negotiable fee, I don't think there is any point in amending this document.
So would you like to withdraw your motion?
I withdraw my motion.
All right, you withdraw your motion. Thank you. That motion's been withdrawn, so we're back on the main item. Any discussion on the main item? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote. Please refer to your board docs.
Does Jim Bourne agree with the retract? There's a second.
But he didn't.
I retract the second.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
There are 9 ayes.
All right. 5.3, RC number 5221-22 by the Licensing Hearings and Public Safety Committee, to whom was referred General Ordinance number 5-21-22 by Alderpersons Felding Ackley, amending the City of Sheboygan's Code of Ethics, recommends adopting the ordinance. Alderperson Felding.
I move to receive the RC and adopt the ordinance.
Second. There's been a motion and second. Any further discussion on this item?
Mayor, I have some questions for the city attorney.
Go for it, Alderperson Boren.
Thank you, Mayor. Attorney Adams, could you just go over maybe briefly what the high points of the changes in the Code of Ethics are? And also, I presume that the Ethics Board would still be the committee of the whole, and what is the requirement for taking action at the Ethics Board? Is that a 2/3 majority?
So you've asked three questions. I'll try to take them in order. As far as the highlights, they're primarily contained in the IFC that Assistant Attorney Cameron wrote, but what I can tell you basically is that we are merely updating by including some updates in definitions and making sure that our definitions meet with the requirements of the federal government for receiving funds under ARP. Your second question, yeah, I'm
What is
past
the,
my half century. I don't remember anymore.
who's the ethics board? And the third question was, does it take a 2/3 majority to take action by the ethics board?
As to your third question, I don't know the answer to that, but we're not changing that. So it would be the same as it was before. I'd have to review the ordinance. As to the second question, that also does not change. The council is acting through its committees is the ethics board. Basically what happens is when there is an issue brought to the ethics board, it is referred to the licensing hearings and public safety committee, which is the committee that is designated in the ordinance to deal with ethics issues, to have any hearings, make any decisions, and then refer them to council for it to make any final decisions.
Thank you.
All right, any other discussion? Alderperson Flicky-Peneski?
So in summary, this new ethics document before us has been drafted to comply with federal guidelines.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Any additional comments? Alderperson Perella?
Yeah, I was just wondering about I assume it was the same provisions before about I believe it's section 9 for the gifts section. That may not have changed at all, but I was curious about that provisions or that section applies to public, to officer and staff and city staff, but also officer to officer and employee to employee, the limitations on gifts and restrictions on gifts.
Right. The limitations and restrictions on gifts apply not only to elected officials, but to non-elected officials and employees of the city as well.
And those limitations are $20 and $30 depending on the, right?
Depending on the circumstances.
On the circumstance. Thank you.
Additional comments? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote, so please refer to your board docs.
There are 9 ayes.
All right. 5.4, RC number 5321-22 by the Licensing Hearing and Public Safety Committee, to whom was referred General Ordinance number 6-21-22 by Alderpersons Felding Ackley, amending the municipal code as to add provisions for a parklet permit, to modify provisions related to drinking on public streets, to account for the creation of parklets, to update the provisions related to street festival permits and sidewalk cafe permits, so as to make them more congruent with each other in the parklet provisions, and to remove an ordinance no longer applicable related to drinking on the Ernstweil Plaza 8. Recommends adopting the ordinance. Alderperson Feldy.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to receive the RC and adopt the substitute ordinance.
Motion by Feldy, second by Decker. Any discussion on this item? All right, seeing none, this is, Alderperson Perella?
Sorry.
That's
Thank
okay.
you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Is this limited to a specific time of the year? I don't think I found dates. Or is the whole year, applies to the whole year?
It applies for the entire year. Now, as part of the application provision, the license can be, or the permit can be granted over a period of time, but we have not placed those limits in the ordinance itself.
And briefly a follow-up, it includes all kind of entertainments as well within the parklets, so dance, bands, music.
Right, so in creating a parklet, you're creating it for various purposes, and, you know, someone could choose to have a band or dance in there. That wouldn't mean that they wouldn't have to abide by other ordinances, for example, our noise ordinance, for example.
Thank you.
Additional comments? All right, this is a roll call vote. Please cast your vote.
There are 9 ayes.
All right, that's approved. 7, other matters authorized by law, city attorney.
There is one, a resolution by Alderpersons Mitchell, Felicki, Pineski, Boren, and Feldy, updating the policy for applying the undesignated fund balance for the general fund's ensuing year's budget.
And that will be referred to the Finance and Personnel Committee. We've exhausted the agenda. Is there such motion to adjourn? Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a motion second. All those in favor of adjourning, please state aye. Anyone opposed?
Aye.
We're adjourned at 6:31.
He's got to say Alderperson.